This is the Talk Beat Jones, and this is the Talk Beat Jones. 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 I'm hot, and it's cold, but I'm hot. And that's what my boss man, Mr. Henry Tyler, the Executive Vice President, General Manager of WHPR TV 33,
Bring it up.
and also my other boss man, Mr. R.J. Watkins, and also my sponsor management firm, MRJJ. They told me, said, Billy, you got to come off of this unbossed position, because you are bossed at this station, because Mr. R.J. Watkins and Mr. Henry Tyler run this station. And if you are on this station, then your boss, folks, is Mr. R.J. Watkins and Mr. Henry Tyler. Front door. So I just need to come off truthful and let you know that, yes, I have bosses. You my boss, Mr. Henry Tyler?
No.
He's no, until he popped me upside my head. But I just need to do that. Also, my other bosses is you, the people. You're the person that if I'm stepping out of line, you come to the forefront and you say, Billy, here is where we should be. We, that means that you, the family, and me, where we should be. And if I'm the person on the microphone and I'm representing you, then if I make a misstep,
Bring it up.
then you can let me know that that's not chill, that's not cool. And I want to take this moment right now, and I want to thank Mr. Tom Wilson for stepping to the plate as a representative of the people that I represent, to let me know that the style that I was starting to partake on was not a good style. And I respect Mr. Tom Wilson, and he stepped up. Like I tell everybody, you can step up, but you can't step up the way that you do Reverend Jim Holly. He was respectful. He has my ear. So I will not participate with that NAN that, you know, if you've been watching me, what I put that to mean. I will never do that again. And thank you, Tom, for letting me know that was uncomfortable. It's not only uncomfortable, but it was not classy. and I want to represent. Can you hold on, please?
Yes, I will, really.
Okay. See, it's a difference between just getting on the microphone and representing black folks and representing black folks with some class and some style. These are the type of things when it's like a stallion that's in the corral. You finally went on the range and you brought the stallion in, and you're trying to teach the stallion how to still be a stallion, but even within being wild, there are things that you are to learn and you are to build on. And I'm a stallion, yet there are things when I talk about Mr. Henry Tyler will come out and pop me upside my head, and I still have that other layer of Mr. R.J. Watkins saying this is what your program and how you're supposed to conduct yourself on this station is about. And I've talked about that. I would give my right arm to be in that circle that represent Mr. R.J. Watkins and Mr. Henry Tyler.
Again, I can't
But
hear.
I forgot, and I guess I put an artificial arm out there and started doing this thing of trying to be self-absorbed and trying to be all of that. I'm unabought, I'm not bossed, and I'm not bossed. You see, we get caught into cliches, and we start rolling with those cliches, trying to have a certain persona, and then we sometimes realize the way your mama or your daddy taught you, because they were your bosses. They were the ones that showed you, taught to you about how you're supposed to project yourself. And you can get away from that. So to this family, I want to say, if I got off on the wrong curve, because I'm not an activist, I'm not a person that is in a position to critique and criticize how other folks present themselves. I'm not in a position to critique and criticize the decisions that other folks make. I represent us to allow us to talk and be together. I forgot one part that Mr. J.D. Hill taught us and taught me. I forgot how to go to the barber shop and talk. So, Mr. Tyler, I want to thank you for being kind, but being stern in talking with me. Yes, because he is my boss. Mr. R.J. Watkins, he is my boss. So I have to walk around the rules and the expectations. And I say that because, you see, their expectations is not to hold me back, but to help guide me to be greater, better as a talk show presentation. And sometimes you can lose your way when you don't have a boss and you feel that you're unbossed. You look for the glory. And the glory is right here. It's not up there. It's right here. People who don't walk that walk and don't talk that talk and trying to talk to you and trying to tell you You have to realize your arms are too short to box with the people who love you and care for you and trying to guide you. So I say right today, Billy Jones is bossed by Mr. R.J. Watkins and Mr. Henry Tyler, and that you will see on this program henceforward will be, if necessary, consulted to make sure that that's the type of program that I can bring to you. Is that okay with you, Mr. Tyler? Okay, so I just want to get that clear. So now we're walking in the graces of TV 33, WHPR, the management, the ownership, and my bosses. And I won't do nothing without consulting with you, okay? All right, sir. Now, let's go back into who we are, what we're about. This is the Talk Beat Jones, and I am Billy, Dr. Talk. Yeah, I had to go back to school. Mary?
Yes.
Oakland, California. You know what?
What?
It made me feel like I was with Chuck Johnson, and he done,
Hit you in the butt.
oh yeah, and you know Chuck will kick you in your butt. He won't just talk to you; he'll kick you in the butt. I was able to witness. There was a kid that he's about 6'3", about 225, 30 pounds, and I watched Chuck Johnson, who was about 5'7", 5'8". I watched Chuck Johnson walk up, and the kid that did something, and he thought he was a youngster privileged.
Oh.
And I watched Chuck Johnson walk up and just punched him in the stomach. Pow!
He probably had the fist for it.
Huh?
Good Lord.
Say what? You know, and I thought I was the only one. Now Chuck never took his fist to me, but he would beat the heck out of me verbally.
Yeah, you had to watch them kind of short dudes.
Yeah.
They didn't, they were short and didn't like it, and the other ones come on strong.
Hold on, Mary. I'm gonna come right back to you. Oh, they gone. But you can call me back, family. But Mary, go ahead and talk to me about what you want to talk about today.
Well, let me say good morning to all you turkeys.
Okay, and who are you?
Around the world.
Identify yourself first.
Okay, Mary of Oakland, California.
Okay.
Well, I didn't hear all your conversation this morning. I had an idea that you did something you weren't supposed to be doing. so that's how I can really.
You know what it was, Mary?
No.
It was the same. It was the same streak that when I was a youngster, my mother used to have to try to beat out of me. I mean, beat out of me. It was the same streak that Mr. Chuck Johnson used to have to discipline me, and sometimes would even take me off the air. Still pay me, but would take me off the air. It's the same streak that Mr. Henry Tyler, when I talk about getting slapped upside the head, it's the same streak that Mr. R.J. Watkins would look at me. He wouldn't berate me. There's nothing that Mr. R.J. or Henry Tyler's ever done to berate me or belittle me. But I felt.
Well, let's put it this way, Billy. Is there anything I can do?
Well, Mary, it's the same thing
You're
that I
not
know.
being mistreated, are you?
It's the same thing, Mary, that like I tell people that that you and I will not always agree.
That's
Because you are your own person with your thoughts and and if I'm saying something and going one direction, and if it's not a direction that you go to and with and agree with, you won't just follow along. So the saying used to be, That boy is just getting full of himself.
Okay. Well, let me put it this way. This morning, so somebody else can get on, I'd like to with my prayers out to the 235 people who got murdered in Egypt.
Oh, my God.
Say a prayer for these people. Well, let me tell you something, Isis. The Egypt Air Force is tearing your behind up this morning.
Uh-huh.
Do you hear me? Why go after the sheep? Why don't you go after the big armies if you have to kill people? And please don't say that was in the name of God. I hate that because you're lying. You're lying because nothing like that is in the name of God. God is I am. I am love. Now, to get back to Oakland, California,
Yes.
we had sideshows this morning. Explain that to them, Billy.
You had what?
What a sideshow is.
Wait. I couldn't understand what you said.
You know the sideshows?
Oh, the cars.
Yeah.
Yes.
We had it. They woke me up in my neighborhood at 2 o'clock this morning, and I'm not too happy. But
Now,
they have gotten a little crazy.
That if
I don't know if it was my neighbors shooting at them or what was going on.
for folks who don't know, that's when the people out there showing off their some of the movies in the Fast and Fury, they did a thing
Yeah.
called drifting. Well, these folks, they drive, they drift, they run, and they do the cars in circles and just circles. And so that's called a sideshow. It's a different version of racing. It's showing how you can control your car and just going like
Right.
you're out of control, but you have it in control. But at the same time, they've had folks that have been seriously injured.
But see, if this wasn't Latino and black stuff, they would have stopped this a long time ago.
Yes.
They try to make a crime out of everything so they can get more stormtroopers. And it makes me very angry. They could have had those. These are grown men who work. They did what they're supposed to do. They went down to the city council of Oakland and tried to talk them in to letting them use the Coliseum, the stadium out here in Oakland. But they would never do it. This could have been stopped. Stop making a crime out of everything, Oakland, and let those kids use the Coliseum. At least that would keep them off the streets. I mean, they were smart this morning. I was looking at the news. They had it at least at about 4 different places in Oakland.
Yes.
But it scares the heck out of people, though. You wake up at 2 o'clock and you hear all that kind of stuff in the morning. It drives you nuts, including the animals.
Well, Mary, they have...
Let them have the Coliseum.
Well, they have that situation here in terms of like drag racing or racing.
Yeah.
And what they've done to try to corral that somewhat is that they have designated an area where they can go, quote, and race. I'm not sure if they've gotten it all the way passed and legalized, but there's an area that they have placed so that they can go and race because,
That's great.
it's just like the marijuana issue. That's what the people are going to do because the thing is, it's like drugs on steroids with the steel because folks who have these cars, and it's not just, let's understand this, folks, it's not just the men, although the men use that to show the control of all of this power, all these horsepowers, etc.,
Right.
to attract women. Well, there are some women
Right.
that also participate to show that we as a woman, we also can do what you guys are doing.
Yeah,
So-
because I used to race in San Francisco on Tuesday nights. Don't tell anybody.
Wait, Mary, did you say you used to race?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you-
had fun out there on 3rd Street,
Okay.
and we had the TikTok where we go afterwards and eat and talk about the issues of the day. Yes, I used to race,
Oh,
and I
no.
used to win.
You're a real
I
radical.
was bad.
So you understand that everything that you may have done, they've taken it to a different format, but it's just like the folks that in your age range that they're doing it.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, they like to make a crime out of every little thing. Do something about it. I mean, if it was white kids doing it, you would have let them use the Coliseum. Well, I mean, we have monster trucks there. They got motorcycle races there.
Yeah.
They got everything.
Yeah.
But somehow they can't let these grown men and women race.
Yes.
Or do their little sideshow. So, I mean, think about it, Oakland.
Well, you know, Mary, when I was in college, I had a 327 Malibu, and I called it the Blue Streak. Yep. And every time I would race, and if I get lost, I would take it to the engine shop, and I'd have them to fine-tune or do some other things to my engine. And I would be without my car anywhere between 3 to 5, 6 weeks, catching the bus going to work with a car that there was nothing wrong with it, except I wanted to have one of the fastest, if not the fastest, car in Oakland.
Oh.
And I did that on 3 different occasions to try to, because that was a thing. That's what you do when you're young. You ride around, you have a car, and you want your car to go boom, 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 because it attracted girls.
So I had a 51 Mercury.
Okay.
And it didn't attract girls. So
Hey, you attracting the guys. I mean, let's the flip.
I had some, it was me and my cousin, and and I beat him. And he's still mad at me. Too bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what I mainly called to talk about is the idea, please, Oakland, wake up. Looks like Detroit is doing something about that, if you want to call it a problem. Oakland, you make it a problem. Have some place where these kids can do their sideshows instead of in the neighborhoods and waking people up. Okay, Billy?
Well, no, let's go with a national issue. The national issue right now is, as we are going not necessarily week by week, but we're going sometimes day by day on the, well, hold on, Mary. There's someone else who's joining. Let's see what they want to speak on real quick before we complete that thought. Family, this is the Talk Beat Jones. And family, you can join us at 868-0342, 868-0351, 868-4336. You can join in. You can
How
call.
you doing today, Billy?
I'm good, bro. You can speak on whatever you want to talk
All right.
about.
First, I'd like to give a shout out to R.J. Watson,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hill,
Yes, sir.
all other TV shows, Ms. Perryman, yourself, Mr. Ramsey, from the Western Crusaders Hill. This is DJ Bob International Hip Hop. How you doing, Miss Mary? You have a great show. And thank you. One reason why I'm calling today is about, it was a few years ago. This is when you first became a host of TV33, and you used to show up for a baby girl. And it was somebody that was calling your show and trying to take you off your square. And I remember I called you, and I said, I can't remember the exact words I said, but I said, don't let that happen. Like, don't let them take you off your square.
Yes,
I
sir.
remember you smiled because the point is you took good time to listen. Meaning you know the difference between constructive criticism and negative personal comment. So today, that's how you smiling right now. Today,
Yes,
when
sir.
you did your self-analysis,
Yes.
you said, and then you validated with Mr. Hill, that you understood what they were saying, and you took it as constructive criticism as opposed to negative personal comment. But you publicly claimed that you took it as constructive criticism
Yes, sir.
and not a negative personal comment. Now, mind you, we live in a community that people feel that they see something concerning somebody else's business, they verbalize, and the person who they're talking to is just supposed to just go along with it because they verbalize. And I'm just so happy to see that you are growing in the image of J.D. Hill.
Yes, sir.
Because remember, there used to be some people that used to call J.D. Hill show.
Yes.
They start talking, they rant or whatever. You would see J.D. Hill just sit up there, just listen to him. He wouldn't interrupt them.
Yeah.
He just let them talk.
Yeah.
After they got whatever they got up their chest, he say, thanks for the call, and go to the next one. And see, you're starting to be of that spirit, meaning it's your TV show.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But the basis of your TV show is to serve the public.
That's
So it's
right.
hard to be about your own personal agenda and serve the public at the same time.
That's right.
So, thank you for taking my call. I might call back a little later on, but I just want to know we appreciate you.
What I want you to
I
do,
know the people down at TV 33 appreciate you. And you're a very strong example of being a positive man.
but I want to do this for you. You know, over the years, I've listened to you talk to the various different hosts. I've listened to you give your understanding about TV 33 as a whole. And, you know, you've always been a positive reinforcement for this community and for this station and for the various different hosts. So how is it, DJ 8 Mile, am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
How is it that a young man, and tell us a little bit about you, you know, what is it that you do and what you bring to the community and your ventures that you present to the community and to the world?
I'll say this since you want me to have this moment.
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm DJ 8 Mile. I'm the #1 underground internet DJ and CEO of International Hip Hop. International Hip Hop is my networking system of bringing hip hop from around the world to your earth. Currently, it's like over 400 or 500 feature artists and DJs, some here locally, but around the country. And it's like over 5,000 member fan base, whereas there's people, if you ask them, are you an active member of the organization called International Hip Hop? They'll say yes. So with that being said, that has nothing to do with everybody else doing. And I also run my organization based on the Mad Love Spectrum.
Yes, sir.
So you understood that, but one of the first people at TV 33 that understood it was J.D. Hill.
Yes, sir.
Because, see, remember when J.D. Hill used to have his meetings on the East Side?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The EEOC. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. The EEOC.
Mm-hmm.
Certain concepts of how I utilize international hip-hop
Yes.
is based on that mindset.
Okay.
But what it was is when I first went around J.D. Hill and I talked to him about international hip-hop, he's not in the hip-hop community. He's not into just out for profit. And he's not in the self. But when I first explained it to him, he totally got it.
Yes.
Now, people who are into themselves, people who are just about a profit, or people that's just about control, right?
Right.
They have conflict with me. Right now, to this day, 2017, there's over 200 people that believe in me as is, where I don't have to change nothing.
Yes.
So most people that look like me and you, unless they're preaching or unless they prophesy, they don't have people that say they believe in them. So that put me on a whole different level than the average person that look like me in my community. Flat out.
That's right.
Now, 3 years ago, now this is a prime example of what I mean. 3 years ago, I know you remember about the female from Detroit that got caught up in the murder case down in North Georgia.
Okay.
I had TV2 come to my house about this. Like, you know, knock on your door, live TV, and they asked about one of my artists. One of my artists was involved in the murder case in Georgia.
Yes.
That female believed in me. So when TV2 came to my house, I went out there and spoke up for it.
Yes.
Now, most people say, why is he speaking up for somebody in a murder case? Because that person believed in me. So when it comes down to the real people that's part of international hip-hop, it's a basic understanding. That's why you understand the concepts and the things that I do. But
Yes.
for these people with this other stuff, right, I'm good.
Yes.
Just think about this. Now, here in the city of Detroit, right? You would think it's over. I'll say I've came across over 100, but we'll just say it's at least 500 people, either hip hop artists or urban soul artists, right?
Right, right.
This city is over 400,000. Tri-County area is at least 3 million. Don't you think that everybody and their mama here in the city of Detroit, either trying to talk hip hop, trying to be about hip hop, or be what's up, don't you think it should be a TV show that cater to that?
That's right. That's right.
Not just from the perspective of black, not just from the perspective of Detroit. I'm saying period. Okay? Because other communities, they're doing that. But here in our city, nobody tried to connect all the different communities and all the different lifestyles. Now, for example, have you ever lived on the east side, like near Hoover, where Oswald High School is?
I've never lived, but one of the things about when I was able to be blessed to come to Detroit, I worked with a team, and we were based on the east side.
Okay. This was like about 2002.
Okay, well,
I'm just bringing this up to understand that there's different communities in the city of Detroit that most generational residents don't even reach out, understand, and try to deal with.
okay,
You go to Osborne. I went to Osborne in 2002. It was I was playing basketball, but I saw this net that looked like a volleyball. It wasn't as big as a volleyball, but it was a volleyball net, right? So all of a sudden, they called Humong, H-M-O-N-G, Chinese-oriented individual. They all standing around the net, right? And I wondered. Now, they started playing volleyball without using their hands. But they're using their hands, their arms. And then I seen somebody like 5'8" kick the ball, but when he kicked the ball, he did a flip. He kicked the ball over, like his foot went over his head when he kicked the ball, and he landed on his feet.
yeah,
So, you know, when you see like karate movies and stuff,
yeah,
I was like totally fascinated. Nobody in Detroit talk about this. This is not like something that with the people that look like me or you even try. But the Humane population is part of the east side of Detroit near 6 Mile and Crash.
right, right,
But
right.
nobody ever, when we talk about the vote, when we talk about money, when we talk about religion, nobody identified that there is an Asian-oriented community right in the middle of DP side.
He did
But
a bicycle.
They live over there.
He did a
so
bicycle.
they live
kick.
over there. It goes back to the comment I said.
Mhm.
You can always want to talk about what's easy to convene with you.
Yes.
But you need to identify your neighbor because your neighbor lives next door to you.
That's right.
That's one of the reasons. You've heard me say that more than once. That was one of the examples why I brought that. Meaning, I said this last election, you did not see both the two major candidates deal with all the major employers, deal with all the major different religious leaders, deal with all the small businesses, and deal with all the different residents from our city. Our
Yes.
city is 142 square miles.
And you know,
But
just throw in this because I was able to work with folk that live in the east side of Detroit. I was able to work with folks who lived on the west side of Detroit. Now, we're talking about people who basically were born and raised in Detroit, and they told me that they basically, from the east side, did not really know how to navigate the west side. And the
Okay.
folks from the west side,
You want to know why?
wait, and the people in the west side also told me that they really didn't know how to navigate the east side. And I'm just talking about how large and how broad.
No, but I can explain that to you. Bro.
Please do, please do.
Seriously. Now, the city of Detroit was first established in 1701. Okay, it was established by French. Okay, when the city of Detroit was first established by French traveled by water. So since they traveled by water, either the roads went all along the water or the roads went to the water. Now, from, I'll say, like 1812, whereas after the Canadian, became part of England. I don't know Black history, but we'll just speed up to 1860 or the establishment of Detroit in 1849.
Hold on, Mary.
Okay, that's when the English was developing the city Detroit area. The English have all their streets go north and south, east, west, so
Okay.
they know what direction they're going in. So when you go right over there near, like the other side of Hamtramck,
Okay.
on the Detroit east of Hamtramck, that's why all of those streets act that way. When you go to Schaefer and 8 Mile, that's why all of those streets go that way. The east side of Detroit was established before the west side of Detroit. That's why they have the French names. That's why all of the streets travel along the water.
My brother,
But if you go up on the west side,
Mhm.
you're not going to know nothing about that. If
Okay.
you live on the east side, all the streets in Detroit were by names. They're not by numbers. So if you don't know
Yeah.
Lasher or LeJour, if you don't know Schaefer, Pembroke, you're not going to, if you don't know where they're located at, you're just not going to know.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you grew up, you went to schools here, you party here, you work here, you're going to know where Evergreen is. You're going to know where Evergreen and Chippewa is. You're going to know where, what's the street,
And
Oakland, how Oakland crossed.
and that
Plymouth.
outer drive that can take you and take you everywhere and get you all kind of lost because it
You
goes in
start
all.
off near 8, the website start off at 8 Mile will take you all the way to Ecorse.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you don't drive it, you'll never know. So that's just the one question that I answered for you for today. Why people on the east and the west have issues when they travel on the other side of it.
Well, brother, that was a question that I've asked, and I have really yet until now had the opportunity to have someone give me a real, true, clear explanation, and that's why I ask you, DJ 8 Mile. Yeah, that's why I see, you're deep, my brother. You're deep, and and like I said, we have to make room for our young prospective folk to come in and educate some of our madams and some of our OGs
Well,
and some of our political
You said
folks.
it, but Billy, you said it. Now, this is 2017,
Yeah.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I identified at the beginning of this year that this is 2017. So it don't matter about the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. It don't matter what I look like, who I deal with, what I've been with, right?
Right.
This is 2017.
That's right.
You don't identify with that, you're going to get lost.
My brother, you call me anytime.
Seriously.
You call me anytime. I'll be back on the air Monday night, 9 p.m. to 10. I'm on the air again Wednesday from 9 a.m. to lunchtime. And, of course, I come back and do the Talk Beat Jones show on Sunday. You call me anytime, brother, because you see.
Well, I'm going to do this, Billy. I'm going to hook up with you through my network system, and I'm going to start giving you the opportunity to push your show or push your agenda on some of the things I do on Facebook, okay?
My brother, thank you. And
Just look for the term IHH Mile as a Facebook man.
all right, and I'm going to be starting to do my show on Facebook as well. And I thank you so very much for your love, my brother. Thank you.
I love you too, man.
All right.
I love everybody for TV 33. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for making that call. I really appreciate that, okay? Thank you.
All
now.
right.
All right. Bye now. Mary?
Oh, yeah. I love that last caller.
Huh?
He has a map, doesn't he?
And Mary?
I love it, about Detroit. I just put that in my head, all the trees and the beautiful waters around Detroit. That's great.
Mary, see, Detroit, you could put Oakland, Hayward, Richmond, San Leandro, and you can go out much further and add the other cities in there, and you still wouldn't have the broad width of Detroit. Detroit is huge. This
Good
city,
Lord.
in its heyday, used to hold almost 2 million people.
Oh,
Can you imagine that?
Okay, I'm glad to hear it. But let me get to Miss Eastside, who mentioned housing and Section 8.
Yes.
But like you told her, blacks, be very careful. The last day is tomorrow. And go there and get on Section 8. But remember, they bamboozle you too. Tell them you want to stay in Detroit. That's number one. Tell them you want to stay in Detroit. Now, I know these are desperate times. If you just have to go to the suburbs, then you have to.
Well,
but they like to give you the runaround, just like the people who raised your rent, raised your mortgage, the lenders.
Well, Mary, you remember you remember
all the rest of them.
You remember the Jeffersons, don't you?
Oh yeah.
You remember moving on up and to the east side?
That's it.
And they got in that real tall tower, that condo or whatever. They didn't care about the other folks because he had his cleaners there and he was there, and all he cared about him and Weezy and his maid and that couple, the white guy and the black couple. I mean, the black woman. So that became their world. So folks who are going on Section 8 struggling, and they tell them, I can place you in the suburbs in a big fine home, 3, 4, 5 bedroom, 2-car drive garage. Some places may even have a swimming pool.
Oh yeah.
And you don't have to worry about your neighbors breaking into your home and such. And guess what? All you've got to give us is $150 to $175. Now, hold up. If you are a woman and you got 2, 3, 4 children, it's not based on if you're married. So if you are now in that scenario, going there, getting into that situation, your boyfriend, who they're not taking into account, is now coming to be in that environment with you, because it's not like it was when it was like welfare, when they came to check.
Right. Midnight run.
Yeah. So now, if he has anything to bring with you, financial or whatever, bring you nice cars, can help. Now, see, y'all done moved on up. So
that's right.
This is the type of thing that they're willing to offer when we talk about staying in Detroit or staying into Oakland, and if they give them a choice, you know, the consciousness for people looking at personal development, you know, this is what they're looking at. I can get that type of, and don't cost me but $150, $175, and I can bring my boyfriend and my kids and my boyfriend too. I know this from a personal perspective because I got folks, friends and family members who've taken advantage of that Section 8 and moved into the suburbs. And the suburbs, whether you're in Detroit or whether you're in Oakland, there's a suburb that Section 8 is accepted in.
But control your children. Don't act like when you're in Oakland and you're not controlling your children. Because when you go to the suburbs, those other people are not too happy you coming. And you're making a lot of trouble in Antioch. I know, the parents, you've got to rule and ask your children to show a little manners. Don't be going up there robbing, people and all this old craziness.
Antioch, the white folks' town.
That's it. And they're not too happy with black children right now who are acting very, very rude and crazy.
But now when we talk about the children and controlling our children,
they want to put black folks right out of there.
Right here.
It's not only Antioch, it's around the North Bay and everywhere else.
Right here, Mary.
You've got to teach your children how to act.
But here's the problem. Right here, we have reports of a 14 and 15-year-old white folks, by the way, these are not black kids, white kids, that have killed their mothers,
Oh,
that
yeah.
have killed their grandmothers.
Mhm.
I mean, we're talking about 14, 15-year-old young boys. We've had,
Happening in California, too.
and we've had reports of young girls that have assisted their boyfriends
Right.
in killing their parents.
That's right.
So we are at this time when how do we know at which level our children will plot and plan on going against our discipline and be willing to take us all the way out?
Well, they took away the spanking. You can't spank them anymore.
That's right.
And that was planned. You know, because they'll knock the hell out of you in jail. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But they've taken the best thing we had doing was getting that behind.
That's right.
So what are we supposed to do? I'm not perfect. I wasn't perfect as a parent, but I'm asking when you go to the suburbs, please. I mean, if you can find a church to go to, send your kids to the Boys and Girls Club, whatever. It's no secret. You keep your kids busy.
We have a short period of time, and I want to just kind of move and hit on this for a moment, Mary. We have all of these scenarios and situations going on now that we have our congressmen, we have our senators, and other political figures that are being brought up on sexual harassment charges. We have folks that are
Conyers.
well, it's not just Conyers. We're
I
talking.
know, just the idea. I mean, you know, they seem when they come after black men, they seem to go after the oldest they can find. But that's cool.
But to see here, well, since you brought that up, is we in our community and the writers, even the black editorial writer for Detroit here, all that they're constantly talking about, well, they should resign, they should do this. And other writers, when it's a black person that's involved with charges that have never been proven, the allegation, and the first thing they holler about is they need to resign, but yet you have the white boys and the white men and women that tell you, well, they can't prove it, and I'm not going to resign, and the people that support them say still to the day that they're going to vote for them to maintain, to stay in office or to be elected to office. So my question is, why is it that black folks is so quick to come with a moral perspective that, oh, he's accused of doing this.
When it comes to sex in the black community, when things happen to the black woman, we have, you know, this is supposed to be Women's Rights Day or something like that. Black women have been abused more than anybody when it comes to sex and stuff like that. Let's get it real. I mean, we can talk about the equalness and stuff like that. But this is the truth. And unless we reach a solution, I mean, starting from kindergarten on this sex stuff, the mess is going to go on, Billy. We got to reach solutions, not more problems.
You
so
know,
that's all I've got to say.
Well, you know, when they're talking about the way that they're speaking, it's like it sends shivers across my shoulders, because as I spoke before about folks working in the corporate business, when folks worked for different businesses, period, political leaders, etc., when they have, quote, staff, and staff and them spend all of this time together, and it's private time, it's not just work-related time, it's a lot of things that you do for your boss as such, and you start to slack off your boundaries. And as long as you're on good excuse me, on good terms with that boss or that person, that you are willing to be like a lioness and fight to make sure that nobody crosses them up.
Right.
But if for some reason, and like in a marriage, you've been their political wife, you've been their office wife, you've been their corporate wife, but just like in a marriage, if something happens and you two have a strong disagreement and you're no longer getting your complete way, or if it looks like somebody else is receiving more favor than you,
Right.
then you are remembering some things that you guys may have done that crossed the line. If you come into my office and you don't have to knock on my door, and if I happen to be wanting to change my clothes in my office and you walk in and I have my underwear on,
Okay.
then now you're saying, oh, he's parading around this office in his underwear. Well, no, you didn't have to knock on the door to announce your entrance into my office. And inside of my office, if that's where I'm spending the majority of my time, then I can walk in my office and be as comfortable as I choose to be. You see,
Okay.
so those are particular type of things where you got to hear both sides of these stories. And even the person that's reporting some of this situation says, but there was never any type of sexual connotations from the person that we're talking about.
Well, okay, what about the famous words? We got to watch what we say. Don't we always say boys will be boys?
Well, let's put it on the other end and say girls will be girls too.
Okay, then how are girls supposed to act?
That's the question. You know, see, I could get kind of graphic about when they talk about how do you determine a woman as opposed to a lady. There's a certain conduct code that a woman will conduct herself with, and a certain conduct code that a lady will conduct herself with, and a certain type of code that a woman that may not be wifey material will conduct herself with, but she can be very intellectual, very attractive, dressed in a certain particular.
Well, okay, is that fair? What you saying, is that fair? A man could go out here and get with 32 women. A woman goes out and gets with 32 men. She's a slut, whore, and everything else you want to call it.
Well, it depends upon the fact that when you say
men are just called
no,
sex
now hold up. See, when folks go in that type of directions and they say what's fair, it's not fair. What is the word fair? What does fair means? When we watch a game and everybody knows the rules, why do they have umpires and referees and etc. to call it? And why even with having a referee and an umpire, they now have to go into what they call instant replay
Right.
with controversy. So we say it's not fair if a man has 32 affairs and a woman has 32 affairs. Well, who's determining what's fair? We as human beings, to our eyes and to our psyche, are not in a position to judge what this man or this woman, what's fair when we have a person that's the church pastor and we know that church pastor is having outside relationships with his women in the church. What also do we think if there is a church female pastor or minister and she's also engaging in touchy-feeling and doing things to men in her church?
But are we supposed to be judging?
But that's the process, is we're going to judge. Because
But I
that's the
thought God
nature.
judges.
Well, that's what we have, because it's called under making an opinion.
Uh-huh.
See, we have all these words out of the dictionary that we can adjust to what makes our mind and our mouth flap. But when we say fair, well, fair is saying I have an opinion on your actions. You feel me? And if I'm from a different cultural group, I may have a different thought on what's fair because my opinion base is going to be different than what your cultural group may consider a fairness is about.
Okay, you have Charlie Sheen. And a lot of people like Charlie Sheen.
He's winning.
But he's a sex addict. But the same woman who do the same thing he does, she's still a slut, a whore, anything you want to call her.
Hold up. There is a black woman still doing TV, beautiful woman, wrote a book, and let you know that she is a sex addict. And guess what?
Okay.
Guess what? Nobody is accusing her of being a slut. I got to let you go. I got to get Annie in real quick. But,
okay, then. Bye, Annie.
And I'll get your material and check it out very soon, okay?
Okay, then.
Thank you now. Okay. Annie?
Yes.
Quickly, the new...
Really?
Wait, Annie.
Listeners about the deferral is really good in these days because it will help warm your body up and also keep that good skin smooth.
Okay, Annie.
Yes.
You've tried the new Jesuru, the concentrated. I
Yes.
got 20 seconds. Tell me what do you think about that real quickly.
Really, it is good. It is the greatest thing that they could have did without deferral.
All right. All right. Thank you. I got to run, okay? Family, this has been the Get Up. No, that's Minister Malik. This is the Talk Beat Jones, and I am Billy Jones, Dr. Talk. Call me 313-412-3111. And remember, I'm also on the air Monday nights from 9 to 10 Monday nights, and on Wednesdays from 9 to 12. We love you. We respect you. And remember, I've got to do what my boss tell me. That's Mr. Henry Tyler, Mr. R.J. Watkins, and my marketing firm. That's well, I'll tell you about it last week. That's MRJJ. That's my marketing firm that supports me. Got to let you go. Bye now. Go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones, and this is the Talk Beat Jones.